You know what that song means? It's time for Literarily Wasted.
Yay!
Yay! Yay! And this.
Ah!
Hey! Okay.
Talk about some dragons.
Remix them and turn them into Chewbacca noises.
That's my dragon sound.
We'll wait.
Okay.
Oh,
My dragon's tired.
Now do the dragon singing the names.
Ah! Oh wait, no, I'm ready. Okay, hold on.
Okay.
Ook, ook, ook. Okay. Hi, Tammy and Spare and Monica, Stacy, Julie, Sean, Brandy, and nothing's in the way. Jennifer. Hi, Brendan, Henry, and Philip and Tim, Dan, Cindy, Ed, and Judy. Hi, Peggy and Sean and Rachel and Adrian, Jan, Willa and Kent. Hi, Mariah and Bethany, Susan and Bobby and Giggles, Vids, Jay, Jody, Jay again, Henry, Sean, Katie, Giggles, Peggy, and Kelly. Hi.
Hooray!
Thank you to all of our overseas viewers tonight. Thanks for staying up late.
Good morning.
Always
super late.
Good to see y'all in the chat.
Hey.
Good morning.
So tonight, this evening, or whatever your time zone you're in, we are talking about Guards. This is our whole book discussion. We will discuss the book as a whole.
As a whole.
Yes.
So we can talk about anything related to this book. Spoilers are on the table. If you haven't finished this book, be warned.
Don't talk about the other books.
Spoilers for this book,
Yeah.
not for the rest of Discworld.
Yes.
Only for this book.
Just for this book, Guards by Terry Pratchett.
Yes.
Okay,
That's
let's
nice.
get into it. What do we do first?
What do we think about it?
What do we think
Yeah.
about this book?
Let's talk about our feelings.
Yes.
I feel like I have to sneeze.
Okay.
Yes.
Is it book related?
Yeah, that's weird.
No. Okay. I mean, I can talk about the book, not can sneeze on it. I could. I won't.
What?
Maybe
can
a
talk-
little bit of both.
Okay. Bethany, yes. Haha. Oh, also, Bethany, if you like Edgar Allan Poe, please say so because Adam thinks that no one likes Edgar Allan Poe. Anyways, okay.
I've never said that.
That's
You said that earlier.
Lies. There are multiple witnesses, but okay.
Never said that.
So if I have to be completely truthful, I was not as sucked into the second half of the book as I was the first, which is ironic considering it took me 99 pages to get into it. And then I enjoyed, so the first quarter of the book, I was very much an outsider, had no clue what was going on, and kind of didn't care. The second quarter of the book, 100% in, like in it to win it, was like, man, this is a dang good time. The third quarter of the book, I was like, kind of like I was following it and understanding what was going on, but wasn't fully invested. And then the fourth quarter, I was like, oh, I'm back in it, but not as aggressively as I was before. But I did enjoy it enough to buy the book that you should read after this, which is not the chronological next one, but I think is actually, so if this is book like 6, 8?
This is 8, I think, in the
Yeah, I
Discworld.
think the next book that like timeline story wise goes after this, I googled it, is like I think book 18 or something like that.
What's
And
it
so I
called?
got that book. I don't remember. Men something men. I don't remember. No, I don't know. Anyways,
Or like
I bought
Men
it
at
though.
Arms or something, maybe.
Yeah, that sounds right. So I did enjoy it. It is fun. I think though that's kind of good for me. So here's how I felt about it, like universe wise, and then I'll be done. I think what's so great is he's created, yes, this whole universe of intersecting stories and people and characters and stuff. But it's so satisfying when he does, this story like is complete on its own. Like you don't have to read more.
Yeah.
And since it has this fun, like lighthearted, silly vibe to it, to me, the Discworld, I think what Discworld is going to be for me is every now and then when you have an empty block where you're not suckered into something else, you're like, oh, this is a nice, refreshing thing that I'll pick up, be done, like one and done. and then you read all the other stuff that you get like fully invested in, and then you have another little like peaceful block, and you're like, all right, I'll pick up another Discworld book. I think these are really great life filler moments. I think you could probably read Discworld periodically throughout your whole life, and it just like is nice little things that fall into place.
You say what Dan says.
Yep, I totally feel
Yeah,
this
like
sentiment.
it's a nice thing that I'm gonna enjoy reading, but I'm also not very much like, it's not like, oh my god, I have to know what happens next, or it's just, I don't know, it's just nice. It's nice to have. I want to read more, but it's okay if I don't get to it for a bit. I don't know how else to describe it, I guess.
Well, apparently you did a good job.
Okay, good. Cool. I'm stressed. Well, I'm done talking now for the whole rest of the hour. Here, who's
Alrighty.
next?
Bye, Talia.
Bye.
I'll just, since I'm sitting right next to you, I kind of agree. I think the second half wasn't as interesting. I was really sad that the brothers kind of left us a little earlier in the half, because they were honestly one of my favorite parts, and along with Errol, a few of the guards, but I honestly like the brothers better than the guards. I would have rather it been brothers than guards in some ways, but
To be fair, the guards were not the watch.
Right.
I know. Yes.
I get it. Go ahead.
I like what Dan said. I'm really intrigued by the world, and this world that's basically traveling through space to the end of time on a giant turtle built on, elephants. And I like, kind of like Talia is saying, it's interesting and he's got it, but I do like that you can kind of just pick and choose and drop in wherever you want. It's a good little short thing, but you've got enough thread through the entire world. Like death shows up again. Great, we liked death. And then you may find little characters here and there, but and the librarian, team librarian, yes, Adrienne, totally team. Are you saying what Adrienne's saying or Matt's saying?
I'm saying what Matt is
It's
saying.
particularly great to read this book at a moment in history when it feels like I live in a world where dragons are in charge and everyone is just letting it happen. That's a good point. And I think Sir Terry, whose day is tomorrow, by the way, I think Jay posted that in the group. Tomorrow is Sir Terry Pratchett Day, April the 28th. So great timing, Christy. You planned this perfectly.
It's also my
That
mom's
wasn't-
birthday.
As always.
That was
Tonight is my mom's birthday. I don't know if she's watching, but happy birthday to our moms. I have to call her and sing to her after this. But no, I like it, and I'm kind of with you, Talia, where I would love to read more and experience it, but it's kind of like, oh, I'm going to the beach. I don't know what to read. I'll just grab another Discworld book because I know it's going to be fun and lighthearted, and I like that sort of read at the beach, and I don't have to worry too much about the through line of the entire series. So, yeah, I enjoyed it. Again, the second half was a little weaker, except for a giant farting dragon that just made my heart so warm. The second grader that lives inside my brain loved that so much, and his plumbing finally worked in a way to propel him into the stratosphere. I would like an Errol shirt with him farting flames.
I guarantee you it exists.
If someone could post if someone could post a picture
guarantee you.
of Errol farting flames in the group, I would be most pleased. Thank you.
Well,
I just wanted to say really quick, I'm so sorry that while we do keep saying this is nice and lighthearted, that is not to say that it does not have absolutely deep, wonderful, truthful moments. I think Sir Terry is amazing at that. And yes, it feels super fun, but there is real stuff in there. Okay, that's all.
Yeah.
Well, and I read a quote online today that said that he says really serious things in really funny, silly ways.
Oh, I love that. That's perfect.
it's true, he does. I felt the same way about the second half of the book. It did feel like it kind of meandered a little bit, and it felt a little bit harder to kind of keep track of. Like sometimes you would think the story's being propelled, and other times it kind of just sat there. But I overall really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the humor. I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed the kind of like cheeky stabs at sort of satire that he did throughout the book. One of my favorite things was the 1,000,000 to 1 odds.
Yeah,
Like
that was
that,
good. That was a good
that
bit.
tickled me. And like the fact that we just kept coming back to them, trying to figure out
Now stand
more
on one
ways
leg.
to decrease the odds. It's like, now is it 1,000,000 to 1? You're like, yeah, now there's like literally no way you could do it. Okay, good. And it still didn't work. And then like the dragon came and torched them, and he was like, luckily there was 1,000,000 to 1 odds that they were going to survive.
Right.
And I was like, oh, you did it to me, and I love you for it.
Yeah.
But there were so many things throughout the book that I wanted to remember so badly that I just couldn't. But I couldn't. Like there was like jokes that if I didn't have anything to write them down on, they would just like poof out of my head.
Yeah.
And I'm sad about it.
I took some pictures.
Because there were so many things that I wanted to read. But then again, there were parts that just kind of were slow to me. And then I had to kind of connect the dots after the fact when I should have made the connect. I feel like I should have made the connection before. Like I got to a point and like, I guess with what's his name? Wants. Like, I feel like I put it together too late that he was the grandmaster. And I was like, and I feel like afterwards I'd be like, oh, he was the grandmaster, wasn't he? Yeah, we learned this earlier. Yeah.
We had that conversation.
I didn't it didn't click for me until the dragon was speaking to him. And I was like, oh. So that's the brain connection. I mean, that's why.
Yeah, it took me a little bit longer than that.
Oh, okay.
He finished the book. And,
Oh.
and then we talked about it.
No, I got it as I was reading. I just
Mhm.
it just was late. It was just late.
It's okay. I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing.
Also,
Hear
that was
you.
hilarious. That like
Yes.
That was good.
it's like but there was just so many things. Like sometimes I would kind of drift away from focus while I was reading this, and then like there would be nice like humorous moments or nice things that would happen that would like pull me back into the book. Like I kind of like my focus was in and out while reading. And I don't know if that just says more about my mental state, but or the style of writing, because it did like bounce around a lot, and I felt like I had a hard time kind of maintaining focus at certain times. But all in all, like what?
I'm wondering how much time went by between you reading the first half and the second half, because I had a thought for myself. Like, how much time did you let pass?
So I started reading
Like
it
2 weeks.
pretty
Almost, week and a
no.
half.
I started reading it pretty quickly after the live discussion, but then then there was
You
a little
read
window.
5%, and then you stopped for a week and a half,
Why?
which is fine.
Why you gotta call me
No,
out
it's
like
fine.
that?
I'm
Kelsey?
just saying.
But no, I think this is important because I had the realization as I was reading, and I was like, why is it taking me like, it's like almost like I've had to start over with getting into this book. And it was because I didn't read it until yesterday. I did not read the second half until yesterday. So for me, it was 2 weeks between the first half and the second half. And I think that was a mistake. I do wonder if I would have been able to stay more mentally in the book if I had just picked it back up immediately, just because of the way that he writes.
Yeah.
So I think, but there's no way to know for sure.
Well, and I did that, and I didn't have the same trouble getting back into it. I do agree with you guys that second half might have, or the whole book might have been a little long. He could have trimmed a little bit, but I thought it was really fun. And the first time I read this book, it took me a while to get into it, just in general. And then once I was in, like, I really enjoyed it. And this time I had no problem getting into it. And it was just great to read.
I want to
again.
read it again. I would try reading it a second time.
I would say I would actually like to read it instead of listen to it.
I love this.
Grandpa the dog.
Thank you.
Martin,
geography.
Martin, that was a sketch. If you haven't seen it, that Adam and Talia did. Yeah, I would like to read it. The audiobook is excellent, and I don't know if this narrator narrates all of the Pratchett novels, but he's very good. But at the same time, it's one of those that can almost, it's hard to follow, and there's thick accents too. So So I'd like to read it next time.
What did the dragon's voice sound like?
It wasn't what I wanted it to sound like. That was honestly, it was kind of silly. It was like,
I think that's great though,
But-
because so Bobby had a comment earlier. I think it was you, Bobby, who mentioned
no, it was
that
kind of silly.
she
like
didn't know
this.
that the king was a queen until it was basically just like thrust into your face. That's
Yeah.
a horrible way to put it. So sorry. But Bobby, that was intentional. Like I am fairly certain it was written intentionally for us to all be misled. Sir Terry wanted us to make the assumption that this was the king,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
so that it was this revelation that Errol was courting the larger dragon, and then you're like, oh, it's a queen.
Yeah, the Vuna
So
voice.
that was intentional, because I think Bobby was asking about the voice and like didn't know. Anyways,
Yeah, I would highly recommend the audiobook if you want to have a fun experience and we've already read it and you're going on a trip and you just want to listen to something fun. It's great.
Nice. Well, while we keep talking, I really need everyone to participate here. If you were
Ooh.
part of the Elucidated Brotherhood, first of all,
Mm.
what brother would you be? And second of
Mm.
all, what would your responsibility be in preparation for summoning the dragon?
Oh, this is good.
oh no,
I
I'm
would
ready.
be-
Yeah, so everyone comment.
I'm
So
ready.
Christy, what was it again? You want to know your
I wanna
brother
know-
name and your
Mhm.
responsibility for summoning the dragon?
I know
Yep.
mine. I know mine.
Okay, everyone comment.
I know
Think
mine.
on it. Okay, what's yours? You already know.
I'm Brother Loudface, and I'm in charge of snacks.
Oh, that's
Okay.
good. I'll be Brother Sing Song, and I will be in charge of I have to make ethereal chanting.
Oh, that's a good one.
Sing Song, Brother Sing Song. Okay.
I
Adam?
will be brother video guy, and I will make comedy sketches about dragons. It's a dragon thing.
It's a I would watch that. Subscribe. Hey, hit the subscribe button.
Let's see. We got some brother
Wait,
seamstress.
Christy.
Brother Seamstress. Okay.
I
Christy?
probably have to be brother list maker.
Mm.
Brother
Yes.
spreadsheet.
And
Brother
yeah, brother spreadsheet. And my responsibility is probably to make sure all the things are done off the list.
Oh, I like that. This is perfect.
Oh,
Brother
we got another
Pantry.
snack person. We're gonna be
Okay.
good for snacks.
Hey, we need all the snacks.
We do.
Brother warrior.
Brother Warrior
I bring
Oh, flannel pajamas of
of
avoidance.
avoidance.
I
Love
love
it.
it.
Brother Ramen.
Yes.
For
I
as little
bring-
money as possible.
So I'm
Brother Crofter.
Yeah.
Roads and such.
Brother sarcasm.
Okay.
Side eye.
Side
Oh,
eye.
nice. I like that, Adrian.
Yes, mine would be paper boxes of salty goodness.
Paper.
Of salty sacrifice.
Oh,
Paper
salty-
boxes of salty sacrifice.
Oh,
That's my
That's a good one,
contribution.
Katie. She makes sure the figgins are properly shrivened.
Martin, excellent. We need a brother spirit.
Brother skillet
Uh-huh.
in charge of igniting the emancipated incendiary.
I just
Perfect.
do we have an artist in the group that can just draw all of these brothers like
Well,
contributing?
they're
Asking a
all wearing
lot.
hooded robes.
I know,
so all
but,
you
like,
have to
I
do is
know.
draw little shapes.
Brother
'Cause you
Crofter.
can't see us.
Brother Prime Time of the remote.
So I think my favorite part of the book, I had a lot of favorite parts, but the one that made me laugh out loud in the second half was
Like it.
when the brotherhood got together and he asked if everybody was there and they all said yes. And then there was the all caps yes.
Yes, death.
Yeah,
And-
it took me a second.
Well, because just the way that they introduced
No, I
death
got it. I
and
loved
set it
it.
up, and it was just enough for you to get it instantly. And it was so perfect and so unexpected. And I loved it.
Well, I loved it. So it was for those of who are new to Sir Terry Pratchett, though, like I had noticed that death always had the same font, but it didn't click right away. So I did go back and read that one section. And then when I was reading about Terry later, I noticed that this was, of course, done so eloquently. So if you follow Sir Terry Pratchett on Twitter, of course, he has passed, but his assistant still runs his Twitter account for him. And so I think actually on Twitter, it's like Robin Terry or something like that. But when Sir Terry Pratchett died, his assistant tweeted from his account in all caps, "At last, Sir Terry, we must walk together." And then in normal font, Terry took Death's arm and followed him through the doors and onto the black desert under the endless night. The end. And I just thought that was so perfectly done. And to know more about his assistant and to feel like, because I was reading about it, I was like, if you don't know, that would feel almost like overstepping. But apparently in his later years, when he was still writing, if he was physically incapable of writing, he would dictate it to his assistant who would write for him. So it really was this beautiful partnership.
That's cool.
And so anyways, but I had saved that because I just thought
Yeah,
that was
I love
great.
that.
That's beautiful.
Hey,
Yeah.
Lucas, this is a question for you. Wait.
Oh,
What is, yeah.
I honestly can't. A lot of them kind of sound a bit similar, and I think it's just kind of a deeper.
Was it obvious
kind of-
when it was Death?
Yeah,
Okay.
but I think it's just kind of a little bit more monotone. I couldn't replicate it right now. I'm sorry, but all the voices were great. Not the Parisian, not the
Patrician?
Patrician, yes. Just had this like really subtle lisp that he put in. It was like a tiny speech impediment that just really was fantastic. Like just a really nice characterization that was, I don't know. There are a lot of subtleties that the narrator puts in with all the voices that, as like voice acting and anyone that appreciates those nuances, it's probably one of the better audiobooks that I've listened to. And y'all know I've been listening to audiobooks pretty much the entire time. So, 30 plus audiobooks through all this.
Adrian, I don't know. I just know obviously the tweet was sent by the assistant. I don't know who it was written by. And honestly, I kind of like not knowing.
Yeah. I'll ask there. Kent asked how many voice actors? Just one.
Oh, wow.
Just one. And he does. Again, there's some subtle ones where you're kind of like, okay, that sounds a little bit similar. But for a guy to do even, the female voices too, and the dragon and all these different ones, he's very talented.
Yeah, when Death showed up to the brothers meeting, it's great timing.
Yeah, so good. Oh, and the one you really appreciated.
Yeah, when Wance finally died, he saw Death and he was like, "Are you Brother Gatekeeper?" And he's like, "In a sense," or something like whatever. I don't remember exactly what he said.
Yeah.
But it was something like that. Also, somebody mentioned Carrot throwing the book. That was like, there were a few Carrot moments that just like got me. Carrot throwing the book was like throw the book at him, and then that killed him basically with it. And then when Carrot arrested
did I do
the
it
dragon,
wrong?
when he was standing on top of the dragon, like reading the list of charges, I was like, this is absurd.
Oh, I love it.
But amazing. And yes, Adrian, my t-shirt is Ghostbusters.
There's occult books. That's what I feel like. I really did like all of the characters in their own way, even the unlikable ones. You dislike them the way that you're supposed to, I guess. I thought the characters were really well written.
The characters were so good in this book. This is one of the books where, like, sometimes we read books and it has characters and like they just kind of seem like vehicles to drive the plot. This was like I enjoyed spending time with them. And they all had really like well-defined personalities and ways of speaking and thinking, and like it's just
the way that he writes, it's very subtle. What is it when
Oh yeah. It's funny because it's not hard to make this assumption that there are humans that would have done that at some point in time.
Yep.
Like, I'm sorry, but that's why it's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny because there's truth in it. I'm sorry. What were you saying?
No, I was just saying he's just so subtle in his writing and description, and I was just trying to figure out his like pacing through his paragraphs, and just if you ever try to write something, it's hard sometimes not to start every sentence with he did this, he did this, he did, and like the way he just weaves through it and adds these really subtle things of like what's her name? I want to say Madame Pomfrey, but not
Lady Ramkin.
Lady Rant. It was just like this moment where she pulled up her nightgown up to her neck, and like the way he just wrote it was so subtle in there, but I could like see her being like, you know,
You're not Vimes.
yeah. So, oh, and I did love their little thing.
I
yeah.
love Vimes so much. I'm so happy that he's not being a total dum-dum, and I love his budding romance with Lady Ramkin, and I love his little supportive group of guards.
Yeah.
That's why, like, even though I did have to Google it after I finished the book, I had to Google that chart that says if this is the storyline that you want to stick with, you know, what book do you skip to next? Because granted, and it's probably going to be quite a while before I get to it, but I knew that these are the characters that I want to keep reading about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and Kelly, I love seeing this too. How Carrot grew through his letters.
It does remind me. I know someone mentioned it in the last discussion about the Jerk, because you know in the Jerk he writes letters back home to his family, and then you'll have a scene of the family reading it, and it's kind of talking about what Naven's doing, and it's kind of a little bit similar.
Sean, I'm not sure what you're beyond this about their relationship. No, this is my first Terry Pratchett book ever.
Outside of Good Omens.
Yeah,
which is
so this is my first solo Terry Pratchett read. So I know nothing else about Discworld. I know nothing about any of the characters. I know nothing. So looking forward to learning more whenever my brain is set for it.
I'm just glad we had a
Repeating
giant
it.
sea turtle for you to take a picture of the book
I am
the
too.
other day.
Thank goodness.
That was a really good picture. I don't know if y'all saw it, but Talia always finds little clever ways, and she's always like,
I don't have any
Have you read
ideas."
more? What do I need to put? I need to take a picture of something.
Oh, thank God we bought that plush sea turtle when we were in Hawaii like 14 years ago. Let me go dig it out of my
It was
kids'
great.
room.
It was perfect.
I was
It was
really
perfect.
disappointed we didn't have little bitty elephants for me to balance on
We
top.
don't have any elephants.
That's fine.
So, Katie, I read it on Kindle too, and it took me a little while, but I
Oh,
realized that
no.
if you can tap on the little footnote number and it'll pop up.
Yeah.
Don't
And
we
it'll
have
take
a-
you back and forth from it.
We have a Kindle White, but
Yeah, we
white
have a Kindle.
page, white.
Y'all, okay,
something.
I'll tell you why we have a Kindle.
Okay, the side
Clearly,
note.
you don't use it.
I use it. Okay. Y'all,
It's okay.
when
It's
we
okay.
so the book club started in June of 2019.
Yeah,
Okay.
almost 3 years.
In July of 2019, we were reading Wool. That was the second book we did, and I took it with us. We went on a
Paperwhite.
beach trip, and I took Wool and ended up flying through it on the beach trip, and was like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing!" And then I was like, "I have to know what happens next, and I can't have something shipped to me because we're at the beach." And so I looked at every single bookstore within like a 35-mile radius, and no one had the next book. So the very responsible part of my brain was like, wait, there is a Target, and Target has Kindle, and Kindle has and that's why I have a Kindle.
Because you
So
read
that I could read the rest of the Wool trilogy while I was at the beach.
you read both
Yes.
the other books too at the beach. Yeah.
Yeah.
These are expensive books.
Wool is
Mhm.
fantastic. That
yeah.
is still one of my. It's easily a
You've
top
got to
three.
read the next book.
I know. Shift.
It's been 3
and
years.
And dust.
Yeah. Oh, so good.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm so sorry. I got so distracted. I don't remember where we were talking. Footnotes. Footnotes. Adam, what is the footnote hack?
It's not really a hack. It's probably just a feature
The
that I
footnote-
discovered later. But it shows, the little number, the footnote number.
Yeah.
You just
Oh.
touch it and it'll like show you the footnote.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. So you
Because
don't.
you would miss out completely.
Yeah.
with,
And out of context, it's
like I took a picture. My favorite footnote in the second half. The fog itself was shaping up to be a real. How do you pronounce the town? Because I just read the book.
Where is it? More pork.
Okay. Autumn gumbo. And the footnote says, for gumbo, like a pea souper, only much thicker, fishier, and with things in it you'd probably rather not know about. And I saved it because that is accurate. And also it didn't occur to me. I guess I forget that gumbo is very much is that a regional thing?
I mean,
A very American Southern thing?
I guess it's a very American Gulf Coast Southern.
Either way, the
food.
description is accurate. And that's why I tell people all the time, I'm incredibly picky about gumbo because you never know what you're about to eat until it's like already halfway in your mouth. And that's terrifying. Okay.
Yeah, Steve says I was expecting that to be the thing that happened.
Well, and someone did notice. The patrician noticed,
Mm-hmm.
and is going to watch him closely, and was talking about how
And
great he is going to be at his job.
Colin noticed there at the end, didn't he?
He started to
bit.
get there, but I don't think he got there completely.
He's got a freaking crown-shaped birthmark. That's a nice little reveal at the end. He's like, is that all it takes? A sword? I have a sword. A birthmark? I have a birthmark. What's your shape like? Oh, it's a crown. Okay.
Yeah.
So good. Like so many little things. You have to really pay attention. And I'm mad at myself for like zoning out times and just letting the words go by and then being like, oh, what happened?
That's me.
That's Lucas.
That's Lucas commenting as literally wasted because I don't know how to change it back to me. But we all love wool. Go read it.
Yeah.
It's probably my number one book that we've read. If not, definitely in the top 3.
You just got to finish the rest of it.
I know.
I want to know everyone's favorite moments if we haven't already covered them in the book, because there were so many just really fantastic ones.
I literally went downstairs and asked Talia, did I just read that this dragon farted out flames and jet propelled itself into the sky? And she was like, yes. And I said, that is the most fantastic thing I've read in a long time. So it's for me, it's between just all the little nuances with the brothers again, because for the past 16 years, I've been around a religious community of friars. And so seeing them interact in real life and then just kind of juxtaposing the silliness of these brothers on top, like you could see where he pulls some of that from. So, I mean, between Errol and the brothers, I love every Errol snippet of his plumbing. Like anytime he mentions his plumbing and what's going on in his stomach and the gurgling, because I think of like one of our cats that we have, and he's just a big boy that kind of gurgles and churns, and I don't know, those moments just really fill me with joy. Is the Errol and the brothers. I could totally just have books about them. The librarian comes in like 3rd.
Yeah, a lot of people love the librarian, and Katie said that his journey through the L space.
That was a mind trip for me. I was like, what is happening?
It was so random, but it was so fun.
So when the librarian came and saved Vimes from the dungeon, unnecessarily so, since the patrician had a key, I had to stop and do some research and learned a lot about orangutans. So I was like, wow, he really just yoinked that thing, the bars out of there, and then picked Vimes up. Well, apparently that is because orangutans, generally speaking, have the strength of 7 human men.
Oh my
I did not
gosh.
realize how strong they are, but because of how big they are, so we know like how big and muscly gorillas are, but orangutans are also big, and the fact that they have to have these insanely strong arms and core and shoulders because they swing their entire body weight through these trees. Like the average orangutan's only like 150 pounds and can easily pick up 500 pounds. Like no joke. They can rip a human's hand off. Like they won't because they're nonviolent most of the time. But they're on average, they're like 5 feet tall. But then finger to finger, they're 7 feet wide. They're just made for just like grabbing and slinging and flinging. And I thought that was so interesting. And I wondered how much research Sir Terry had done to choose the perfect form for the librarian, which is an orangutan. And I just thought that was so interesting.
I have the strength of 3/4 of a man.
I'm just laughing at it because the other day I was sitting with Adam and his brother Justin, and they were talking about PE class and how they functioned in PE class. So I'm just thinking of that. I'm sorry.
That being said, though, I think my favorite part of the book is just Lady Ramkin as a whole. I think she's incredible. I aspire to be even a little bit like her. And one of my favorite moments of hers is even after they had tied her up to be a sacrifice for the dragon, she went out of her way to be like, you have to stop them, stop the humans from killing it. It's just being a dragon. I feel like she knows so much more about human nature and dealing with others. She seems real cool.
It's a crazy cat lady in you.
She's right. She's right. Like, dragon just being a dragon. Humans, we're the ones who should know better.
Well, and sorry, just to
done.
punch in on one of Sir Terry's commentaries, he even said, and I think it's the dragon that said it, that the dragons don't tear each other apart. Humans do that, right? And so, I mean, there's again him weaving in some of this commentary of I don't know where I'm going, but yes,
No,
that's
I
what I
know
was going
what
to
you
say.
mean.
Yeah.
The way that he said it was like, I mean, the characters are really dismissive of it. As a reader, I was like,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. So a little bit of change in subject. Jay posted in the discussion topics post about the early hints in the book about Errol. And I want to know what the hints are because I missed it. I didn't get that he was courting the dragon until he was already farting fire.
Fart fire.
jet fire.
A sentence
Blue
that I did not
jet
expect you to say. Yet here we are.
So someone help me out. I want to know
I
what the
don't-
hints.
That's our T-shirt. Farting fire.
We're
No,
waiting.
Yeah,
We're
we'll
waiting,
move on until
Jay.
then.
Jay fell
No,
asleep.
we should do a shirt that says "Let's get lit," but it's Errol with his butt flames sticking out, and then one of us with like a mouthful of alcohol, being ready to be like,
I will
Yeah.
pay someone to draw that.
Oh, and Philip, I love this also. I thought I don't know. I really enjoyed that.
That scene was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Oh, Errol, what's called a Whittle. So, and Frank Whittle's the British engineer, made the first jet engine, and he did. He farted so fast and hard that it was blue flames of courtship. Is
"Aw,
yeah.
cute."
That's
True.
All right, we'll see. I'm gonna text your wife about that later.
We must not love each other.
I just love at the end where it's like they talk about they thought he fled, and then he comes back and he's like, "No, getting up the gumption to go." He just zooms and keeps on going, just right past to the point where the earth is tearing itself up in the wake of
it
his
made me.
powerful fart.
It was like a Dragon Ball Z
Flame.
moment.
His
for me.
powerful propulsion.
Dogs drinking.
Thank you, Bobby.
Is it, or is it Grandpa?
Grandpa's eating Jello.
No way to tell.
Gross.
So Kira asked, which characters would you like to read more about and hope they show up in other Discworld books?
Mm.
And Natalia, you already talked about Vimes and the Watch in
And
particular.
Lady Ramkin.
It's really just them. Yeah, their story. Like, I mean, the patrician is interesting, but if I get less of him or the same amount, I really don't
Yeah.
care. I'd love to stick with Vimes, Lady Ramkin, and then Nobby, Colin, and Carrot. Those are hard words to all say at once.
I think for me, Carrot is kind of like a obvious choice because this, I guess, was his introduction. I'm guessing that there's more development there. I really want more of the brothers, but I don't know how much more I'm going to get of them. And
Since
I
they're
would
all
love
dead.
to see.
They died.
What'd you say?
There's one
Since they're all
left.
dead.
Yeah,
Like the one brother takeout. Did he get away?
brother takeout who went
I
to
don't
get
remember what his
pizza
name was.
Yeah, yeah.
because it's
He should still
cheaper.
be alive.
And I would.
Fingers. It was Brother
Fingers,
Fingers, because that's
yes.
why his name was Fingers, is because he steals things. He doesn't pay for them. That's why he's in charge of takeout. Okay, it's clicking. It's
And
clicking.
I would. Oh, who was I going to say? I just want to see what death does, and
Yeah.
more of the turtle. I can't remember the giant turtle's name. I just want to see if there's any characterization around that in the future.
Oh, they do. They mentioned the far away that you can't see it, the place where all the gods are. I'm wondering. how
Yeah,
that
there's like a
comes into play.
mountain that they control. Yeah, so I'm really interested again see the bigger, broader picture. The great Atuan, yes.
Death to me, like I'm sure the death books are good, but like I kind of love Death as like that like pop-in character.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
Like, I don't-
exactly.
he-
I don't need a
like-
full story with him.
Like Fonzie is cool, but like, do you want to see the Fonzie show? Which is what Happy Days turned into after everybody
That's when
else
you
left the show. By the way,
That's when you
Richie.
jump the shark, right, Adam?
Yeah, you jumped the shark.
Oh,
But
I
you know,
had
like
a
some
thought.
characters are just good as like that pop-in character or like the side character. It's like, you know, and then they become really popular. You make a show about them, and they're like, oh, this show's not as good.
Yeah.
Like Joey.
Well, and I'm pretty sure Death appears in each of Terry Pratchett's books, and I just think that that's such a great vehicle. That's just so cool.
Ooh, the
Yes.
Okay, can someone please explain to me? There was one little thing later when Errol starts eating all of the crazy things to help move things along
Mhm.
plumbing wise. They keep talking about all the crazy things that he's eaten, including Coke. Can someone who's more familiar with British humor enlighten me on if
I
what
thought-
that
Isn't it like a
actually
building
is?
material or something?
I thought it
It's
was
a-
like had to do with coal or something.
Yeah,
I was thinking that too, but since I don't know, every time I read it, I was very confused. And I was like, I know this isn't what I think
Yeah.
it is, because otherwise his plumbing would have rearranged very quickly. So I just want to know. Okay, it's just a
it's
fuel.
a fuel.
Is it a
Okay.
type of fuel or
Coke
is it
is a fuel.
slang for fuel? I'd never. Okay. Oh, okay.
Coke is a byproduct of making steel.
Oh.
Adrienne, you are so full of knowledge.
And it's also a crisp,
So glad you're
refreshing
here.
cola.
That's right.
Yes, Coca-Cola.
Coke is a fuel for fires and forges.
A purified coal. Look at all these smart
Wow.
people.
I'm so
Type
glad y'all
this.
are
Yeah.
so much smarter than us.
Can't click on that. but
Joe
there it
says,
is.
I know there's a much you say dragon like to party.
Yeah. This is-
Yeah.
That's life.
It's a
You
great way
just-
of learning without me having to like
Coke is processed
actively dig around.
coal.
Well,
it's a Coke
honestly, so
talking
y'all are helping me because I didn't want the FBI agent who watches my boring phone to be like, why is this dumb girl constantly Googling Coke now?
But she could just
No.
go to the gas station and buy
Wow,
it.
yeah, y'all
Right.
are so smart. Look at all these people that knew about Coke being a
You know, I'm now disappointed at the Uriah Heep book for not mentioning.
Talking
this.
about-
Yeah, we should have learned
Right.
this last time.
Uriah Heep should have totally been doing Coke.
But I don't think you say doing.
It's
Utilizing.
Processing Coke.
So anyway,
Thank you.
Coke.
It's vanilla
Coke.
Coke.
Tim, no, don't snort fuel.
Snorted. Yeah, it does give you a bit of something. I wouldn't know. I've never done drugs. I haven't.
This is really defensive. All right, so we're all here today to sit down. Adam, we all care about you.
I don't do drugs. I listened in Dare.
I just liked the talking car.
What?
In Dare?
Y'all got a
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
car?
Yeah, y'all didn't have the talking car?
What? Kit? What are you talking about?
The Dare car.
Oh, the
Nah.
I don't
Dare
remember the
car.
Dare
No, we didn't get the Dare
Oh.
car.
The Dare car.
What did Dare? Anyway, that's a whole nother.
Anywho,
Drugs are really
Accessible.
That's not how you spell.
Oh, yeah, it's an A. Hey,
Have we run out of
Maybe
things to talk
Maybe
about?
if you had done less drugs, you would be better at spelling.
stop.
Somebody give us something to talk about.
I'm so
Apparently-
sorry.
We got
Apparently-
14 minutes. And
I
counting.
know. We're still talking about the book.
Dara.
I'm just really good at getting sidetracked. I'm sorry. I can't believe y'all didn't have the talking deer car. Although, I guess if you do enough drugs, maybe all cars talk.
We
I
went
don't
we
know.
very very south on this discussion.
I'm sorry.
It's a
I'm so
southern
sorry.
thing. So Vimes.
I did like I like the part where it was like he was
Philip, you're such a teacher.
he
Yes,
was
sir.
2 drinks under or
Oh,
something like
right.
that.
Your
And-
body
that was
produces
good.
yeah,
natural
your
alcohol.
your body produces natural alcohol, and he's
Always.
always 2 drinks under.
Yeah.
I
Poor
really
guy.
enjoyed how Vimes changed from the beginning of the book to the end of the book. He had so much growth and just really like found a purpose, and it was really great to see, even in this really funny, silly book.
He really did. Like, you know, I was actually surprised by the amount of character development that he had because, you know, everybody else kind of did have a little bit of character development, but like still like an acceptable, like shallow amount for like what you would consider to be just kind of a comedy book. But Vimes had a full on like journey.
Mm-hmm. Well, and he started from such a dark place too.
Well,
Sorry,
that's
what,
what I
Talia?
kind of. Well, I hope that yes, some of it's growth, but for me, part of it almost read like. I got distracted by your snorting.
I was laughing.
Oh my
I
God,
took
grow up.
Leanne's.
Okay, grow up. Okay, I like to think of it that part of him was actually almost reverting. Like I like to think that so this core of him that always had these morals and like wanting to be a good guard and having these feelings about like what's right and wrong, that maybe he had that when he started as the Watch, and over time, because the city wore him down, the patrician, the way things are run, that he kind of like devolved into the version that we're introduced to, you know, where he's in a gutter. And then so I like to think, yes, it's growth, but also him regaining that part of himself where he did start out like wanting to be a great watchman or whatever they're called. Watchman? Yeah, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And
Watch.
so that's, I don't know. That's kind of how I saw it. Yes, Leanne, he is.
Perpetually.
Where are they really competent?
Were.
So that's exactly what Vimes was my favorite character. And really was kept coming back and engaging. He had reason to give up on everything. That was a ray of light amid all the chaos. And like
Mhm.
what I also liked about them, the guards and the Watch and the heroes in general, is that they didn't actually really do anything. They just tried. They just like, as opposed to everybody else in the book who's just kind of like accepting horrible things. Like here you have these like 4 guys who are wholly incompetent and just a bunch of goofballs, but like trying their hardest to like,
Well, at least 2 of them are.
yeah, to like fix things. Like, and I thought that was just really cool. Like they didn't do much really. They didn't like affect much of the outcome of this book at all. But like to see them like actually give it an effort, and like, you know, the fact that they're earnestly trying to like he thinks he can shoot this one arrow that's like his magic arrow, and like if they
His
get into this
lucky arrow that looks just like all the other arrows.
Yeah.
wacky position that decreases the odds of it working, like it working, and it's just like, and then like everything burns down and they come out of the wreckage and they're just like, you good? Yeah, cool, all right, I guess we should go. Maybe Carrot's like, yeah, and they're like, should we? Yeah. It's something about his voice.
I just like back on
It's
like
a
the
leader's
arrows and
voice.
the vulnerables. I love how Sir Terry just pokes fun at all the tropes, because I'm immediately, and I know I believe they were friends or acquaintances, but it's like Tolkien, and you just immediately conjure up the Hobbit and the whole thing of I can't think of his name, shooting Smaug with the arrow and everything, but the black arrow. But I don't know, he just plays with all those tropes so well throughout the entire book. Honestly, like after reading this, it makes me want to jump back into the Delilah S. Dawson and Kevin Hearn series of Kill the Farm Boy. What's the second you read on through that series, right?
The Princess Beard or something?
The Princess Beard.
That's the third one.
third
the
one.
second one
Okay.
is gnome
No
related.
Gnome good something
That's right.
about
No Country for Old Gnomes.
yeah.
That's right.
That's honestly kind of what it makes me want to get into more than another Pratchett book, just because that series was a lot of fun too. No Country for Old Gnomes, yeah.
Yeah. This scene from the Blues Brothers where Carrie Fisher blows up their house and they're just like, what time is it?
Oh,
Time to go to work.
I haven't seen that movie in 25 years.
So good. It's such a good movie.
Man, all of y'all are on top of it. Except what, like everyone came in with the book title.
I know. They're
Pew, pew,
smarter
pew.
than
Nick,
us.
I have it right here, and I still
can't
have
even
like
see it, yeah.
it's the blue book, the bright blue one.
Oh, it's hard to read. I'm blind too.
Question a little too late for the Q&A with them.
We can ask them again. They would respond. They're
yeah, they
super
probably
cool.
would.
We
They
have
were
their email addresses.
They were really fun.
They were fun. We
But
should
you
do
can see-
another.
You can see a lot of the humor inspiration here, both with Monty Python and like the kind of British
Definitely.
humor, and then like when you read something like Kill the Farm Boy, like you can see like where they get their inspiration from. And we actually started watching Our Flag Means Death on
Yep, we are too.
on HBO Max, and like the first thing that came to my mind was like, this seems a lot like Guards, and apparently the creator is a huge Terry Pratchett fan. So I was like, hey, point for me for
No spoilers in the
connection.
comments if you're watching the show. I've already seen all of it, but now I'm going through and I'm making.
I'm
Lucas
watching
watch
it
and we're watching it
with
again.
with Talia and
So.
one of
Yeah,
our
we're
kids.
just a few episodes in, but you can definitely get that sort of like the humor like inspired by Terry Pratchett. So this Terry Pratchett is kind of a master of comedy, and
I
think
could
just as a study of comedy, it's worth reading.
I could draw a line to Monkey Island too, Adam, with
Oh yeah, you
that.
mentioned that. Oh no, you're talking about pirates.
Yeah, but at the same time, like I could see those creators of a lot of those point and click games pulling some of their humor and world building from some of this.
Yeah. So
Good
anyway,
stuff.
well, we're at 8:24. We made it pretty far. Seems like we've comprehensively discussed the book. Yeah.
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 But I would be happy to read more Terry Pratchett. That's my takeaway from this, is that I think you did a good. It's good. I like I could do more Discworld.
I could see like the Discworld universe being like a bucket list type reading thing, where it's like definitely not a race to read them all, but like, if I read several of them now and then by the time I'm retired, I'm like, I'm gonna work my way through the rest of them. I think that's the nice thing, is that what he's done is create this universe where you don't have to race through it. It's just there. And so it's these 41 books that you could just spend
41.
you could just spend your lifetime working through them in any order you want. And I think that's my favorite part, is he's done it in such a way where there is something that's kind of mentally daunting about having a big series and knowing you have to work your way through it in a process. And this is just like a gift that already exists, and you can pick up any part of it that you want at any time and then still really enjoy it. And I think that speaks to the brilliance of his writing, that you can process it in any order, any way you want, and still really get enjoyment out of it.
Yeah, that's like Jay's saying right now. He's got 3 Discworld books open right now and reading, and I think Dan probably had one of the better, not better comments, but just
Holy moly.
yeah, 6 no regrets. So I mean, it is. It's kind of like I'm gonna read this one now, and I'm just gonna jump into the world and experience it. And I think that's what I look forward to whenever I get to the next one. And there's kind of no timeline, right?
Well, Chris is yawning, and you know what that means?
That means it's time
It's time to announce the new book. It's a 1,000,000 to 1 shot that How to Stop Time was going to win the poll for May, and it did. So we're going back to Matt Haig. If you were with us several months ago when we read The Humans, I think that was overwhelmingly enjoyed by the book club. So if you haven't read The Humans, if you're new to the book club, check out The Humans. I really liked it a lot. I think a lot of people did, and look forward to reading this other book by Matt Haig, How to Stop Time. So we've got 2 live discussions up to part 4. This is the first one.
Part 4, The Pianist.
Pianist.
Pianist. It's May 11th. We will discuss up to that point. Now, it is technically like 20 pages further than the actual midpoint, but there are no real numbered chapters in this. It just kind of bounces around. So for simplicity's sake, we just went to part 4. That way everyone knows. Dan, I said the pianist.
As in someone who plays the
piano.
The
No,
pian.
you're grounded.
I you know it. So we are coming up, y'all. So next month's May. June is our 3rd year doing this, if you can believe that.
The
start of doing this with Good Omens. And I don't know, we all need to talk about what we're gonna do, but maybe we should. It's been a while since we've
a break.
No, we're not taking a
I'm just
break.
kidding.
She's lying. Maybe we should reach out to Matt Haig. We'll have read 2 of his books. We got a lot to talk about then. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
First one. Hey, that's a good idea.
That's just laziness on our part and being busy and having actual jobs and responsibilities. We're sorry we haven't had any author interviews in a while.
If I knew how to blackmail these authors into talking to us, I totally would.
LeVar Burton never responded to me.
No, he did not.
Wow.
Yeah, so everybody reach out to LeVar and say, hey, man, we sure would love to have you, LeVar. Lieutenant Commander LaForge, please.
Katie's asking about hoodies. I will address that. It's probably getting too warm for hoodies. We did look at hoodies and we looked at them kind of exhaustively.
No, it was hard.
It was hard, and there was a lot of supply chain issues, and we didn't want to promise y'all something and then
it would have legit been
underdeliver.
like $50 a hoodie, and it would have taken forever.
It would have taken forever, and so we will definitely
right.
look at hoodies in the fall, I think, and readdress that. In the meantime, we still have some merchandise. Go on our website, literarylywasted.club. We don't really talk about that
out into the universe.
But we still have Take a Shot story books. We've got some 2-year anniversary t-shirts, tote bags and stuff. So, if you want to support in that way and get it out of my basement, I would appreciate it. And but yes, we will look at hoodies again when it starts getting cool.
Looks like Leanne might have gotten bingo.
I think about them constantly.
Oh, Leanne got bingo. What did you get bingo on?
Is that a joke that I don't get?
What?
Bingo?
Sleeveless ribbed tank tops?
It's called a shirt or a wife beater, I believe is what Matt is. I think Matt's just being Matt.
Oh yeah, we should get Patrick Stewart.
Well,
Yeah, we should get Patrick Stewart.
But Dan
Adam,
said-
can you work on that?
Yes.
Dan did mention that one of the reasons we got so lucky with the live Q&As was because everybody was on lockdown during COVID and all of their events got canceled. So even if we do reach out to people, it's not the same world.
Yeah,
it's true. But to be fair, we haven't tried, and it's amazing amazing what happens when you just try and we do
to be fair, we have reached out to some, and we didn't tell y'all about it because we didn't want you to get excited, and that's for the best because it did not come to fruition.
Yeah.
But we will try to put.
But
my
I will
heart in.
say, of the times that we have tried, like we actually have a really high percentage of actually getting responses back and starting a conversation.
Trapped in her house.
It's a 1,000,000 to 1
Yeah.
shot. That
It's
we'll
a
get
1,000,000
Sir
to 1
Patrick
shot.
Stewart.
Hey,
It might be
might-
less than that,
Oh.
actually.
Well, anyway, we look forward to reading the Matt Haig with you next month, and it's been fun reading Guards with you this month, and we hope you will join us again for next month's book, and be on the lookout for June's poll.
June's poll
Yep.
is coming up in like a week and a half, maybe.
And
Yeah.
hey,
We'll see. We'll see.
We're really bad about like asking y'all to ask people to join us, but like share this with them and say, hey, come read with us this month. I'm part of a cool book club. Again, we get so in our trenches that we forget to just ask y'all to reach out to people, share our stuff, let them know that you're part of something fun and cool and easygoing, and we would appreciate it. And it's a good time.
Spread us around like cooties.
Cooties.
That's a bad analogy when we've just been talking about COVID, I guess.
Well,
Share
thank
the
you.
wealth.
thank you for joining us, and we have a great time as always. And we will see you next time. Lucas, let's try to harmonize while this thing tries to end the broadcast. Ready?
No, goodbye. Oh no, it's worse without the headphones on.